than before. Through those open doors, where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place, a tender warm embrace, where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And now, and if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page or Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton's Facebook page. And guess what? You can see us live right here in WGPL 1350 studio. Life's not easy as it seems. And if you want to hear us all over the world, all you have to do is go to www. Christian Broadcasting Company, click and listen live, or you can go to WPCE 1400 AM or WGPL 1350 AM, and guess what? You can hear us all over the world. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbor, our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
And WPCE 1400 AM listeners.
I tell you what, Mr. E is getting everything right in the studio. We just want to say again, good morning. It's a wonderful, beautiful, beautiful day. And we want to welcome WGPL 1350.
And WPCE 1400 and Peace 95.3 FM.
Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
You know, Miss Hinton, I just want to pause and rewind. Can you give us your good morning again?
Good morning, Mr. E. I hope you all can hear me now. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Could you, will you be my neighbor?
Be our neighbors, but make sure you like, share, subscribe. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
We want to say good morning to Modell Lewis. She's saying, pray for the young, the families of those that was gunned down, the young people that were gunned down, the children. And as she said, it's an emotional time, but she wants everybody to lift them up in prayer. Mr. E, it is a time that we're living in, and we want to just remember everybody. A lot of people are suffering, and a lot of things are going on, and we really need to stay close to the throne for solace and for peace of mind, because there's so many things happening.
That's right. That evil and wicked spirit is jumping up everywhere you turn around. So we got to box him in and step on his head, because he's doing a number out here on the street.
Mr. E, what day is it today?
Today is Hump Day. That's what the day is.
Mr. E, I was laughing before you said. I knew it was going to be a good one. But look, it's FYI Radio Show's Wednesday segment. It's What's Under the Hat, issues concerning men. And I don't want to prolong the time. We have a very, very special guest. We have attorney Amina Matheny Willett. She's with us, and I want to say good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. You know, we want to first find out where you're from, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I have a twin sister. So whenever I talk about myself, I say we. But we were born in Boston. We left Boston at 6 months old. So if anyone asks me about Boston, I have no clue. We traveled a lot. I ended up settling down in Norfolk, Virginia. I graduated from Booker T. Washington High School there, and then I went to college at New Patriot University, came back and went to law school at the University of Richmond Law School, and then I settled again in Norfolk. So I consider Norfolk my home.
Yes.
And my sister and my mom both went to Norfolk State University.
Well,
So
what?
I consider
Yeah.
my home.
Well, what is it like to have a twin? I always wanted a twin. Is it a fun thing or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's fun. You always have somebody there. We are fraternal twins, so we don't look alike. But some people say we look alike, but we're not identical. So you can't like play tricks on people. So we never, really did that. But we are both just, we're kind of the opposite. Like she, when I started law school, she had just gotten a job with Ringling Brothers Circus.
Wow.
As one of the dancers, the people that dance around the elephant.
Yes.
While I was in law school, she was with Universal Circus. She was a tiger trainer.
Oh, wow.
She, I remember one time she called me and she was complaining. She was like, my coworker has such an attitude. I said, well, what do you mean your coworker? One of the monkeys I'm working with. And he has such an attitude. That is so
cool. But I tell you what, that is so sweet. But Attorney Amina, let's talk about you and your 21 years of serving the people. First of all, why did you decide to become an attorney?
Well, when we had lived in Pittsburgh, I was about 14 years old. I was watching a documentary about a guy who had been in prison for about 10 years for rape. Oh, he was getting ready to get out because they had new technology that determined that the DNA that they found was not his. So he was going to be exonerated after spending 10 years in prison for a rape that he did not commit. The alleged victim of that rape identified him. So there's a lot of issues with witness misidentification, but he was getting out. So when I saw that at 14, that kind of prompted me to, do my part to make sure that no innocent person would ever go to prison at all, but especially for 10 years of your life. I just thought that was a grave injustice. And from there, I, made a plan I finished high school early, I finished college early, and I went on to law school.
Wow. So you started,
I was very motivated.
You started with, in the juvenile courts, is that right? You were, as a attorney, you dealt with the young people, and then you went into criminal law. Is that how your journey?
So, right. So while I was in school, while I was in law school, I had my son now, and I don't mind telling my age, but my son now is 29. He was about 3 or 4 when I was in law school. So what I did is focus my energies on learning a lot about juvenile law. So when I got out, juvenile criminal defense, it's delinquent defense, but same thing, juvenile criminal defense. When I got out, I went into juvenile criminal defense. So I went into the public defender's office, but I just represented juveniles that were charged with crime. And I did that. Really, I focused on juvenile defense for about the first 5 to 10 years of my career.
Wow.
Where that was my main focus. And I taught on juvenile criminal defense. I still teach on it. When I say taught, I do CLEs or continuing legal education classes for other lawyers. We have to have a certain amount of credits every year. But that was and still is my passion.
So after you left juvenile, you went to the adult side. How do you think when you're dealing with that, when you said earlier you saw that man who was being tried for something that was, not right, that he had spent time for doing a crime that he did not do. How do you feel when men has to spend time in prison for crimes they did not do, and what is their outlook when they get ready to be released?
Well, it's difficult the way the American justice system is set up. Sometimes guilty people go to prison and innocent people are set free, and that's the way the system is. disheartening when someone that is, actually innocent goes to prison. And to me, it's also disheartening when someone who is, in fact, guilty of a crime, but whose rights have been violated, goes to prison.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and that's something I'm fighting against now. And then trying to get acclimated back into the community is extremely difficult. When you have a record, it's hard to get a job. It's hard to get housing. It's hard to start your own business. So it's kind of like being branded for life once you get out of the system.
Yes.
And to me, that's the intent of the system.
Yes.
Because I have very strong opinions on why the justice system in America does what it does.
Absolutely.
In terms of the fact that this is America. Blacks were slaves. You're not going to have a system that just totally rejects that notion. And I believe that the criminal system is a substitute for slavery.
Now,
I know.
Yes.
I know that may sound a little bit radical, but if you look at what the system does, then it's not radical at all. It brands people for life.
That was one of my questions. Why are the incarceration numbers for Black men so high? And I know I have a feeling it does stem from, like you said, slavery, but the system, when will it change? You fight for civil rights. Do you see a change throughout the years?
Well, what has to happen is it almost has to be like a revolution, because the system that's currently in place, everyone says it's broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's not broken because it does. Okay, so something is broken when it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. My position is that the criminal system that's in place in this country is specifically designed to incarcerate and dehumanize and re-enslave African-American males. So if you look at that being the purpose of the system, it is not broken, because that's exactly what it does. So in order for the system to change, it needs to be uprooted. You have to have a large influx of people that understand and think the same way, and understand that the system will not work. The system in place will not work. So it has to be literally uprooted and revamped, but it's going to take a lot to get that done.
Is it a business? Is it a business? I know past, future. Do you feel like it is a business of somewhat, not just to enslave, but to make it a business to profit?
Well, I mean, okay, so absolutely, it's a business, but you do remember that slavery was a business. Like,
yes.
Making money off of the back of Black men is what slavery was built on. So the same way so when you go to prison, your family has to pay for phone calls, clothes, commissary. They have tablets now. They even have movies, so you have to pay for all that. Wow. Some jails charge you $1 a day to be there. So again, it's still a business. It's doing exactly what it was intended to do. On the backs of Black men. And so it's the same thing, it's just modern day slavery. That's literally what it is. But yeah, there would be a lot of people and companies that would go under if mass incarceration stopped in this country. So there's a lot of forces trying to prevent trying to continue mass incarceration in this country.
Wow. You listen to FYI Radio Show with the host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Everette, the co-host. Our special guest is none other than attorney Amina Willard. And we say good morning to you.
Let's talk about some of the things that you do in fighting for civil rights. I know you've been involved in a lot of things. I think Black Lives Matter, you address those things. But can you explain the cause of what it's all about, Black Lives Matter? And like I said, some of the things that you are involved with personally to fight for the rights of African-American people.
Okay. So one of the cases that I can talk about is the Ebony Holmes case. And that's the case where the officer punched my client in the face. We are going through litigation with that. And when that case actually came to me because one of the passengers in the car put the video on Facebook. People started calling Rhoda Young Live TV, and then Rhoda got Ebony on her show the very next day. It actually was the same day, like 2 o'clock in the morning on July 5th, and she was on there, I think, by 9 or 10 in the morning. And then Rhoda called me, and then I took Ebony's case. And from there, we've been, following a number of motions, trying to get the case dismissed. That's a case where, again, what I fight against is if the process is being abused, I have a problem with that.
Yes.
So in that case, she's charged with reckless driving and obstruction of justice. So, we're trying to get both charges dismissed, but admittedly she was speeding. But when someone is speeding, you don't ask them to get out of the car. You write them a ticket and let them go. That's just what you do. That's what let me just rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what should happen. But as African Americans, we know that a lot of times the police ask us to get out of the car. They ask us for ID. They do this unnecessary detention that, in my opinion, ultimately could end in the death of the murder by cops, basically. So, and that was a case where, again, it's not whether or not she was speeding. The bottom line is don't pull her out the car. That's not what you do with everybody else. That's not what you do with non-minorities. So don't do it with her. And so that's where my fight is. And the fact that he abused her as well. And wouldn't have, if he wasn't trying to get her out the car, he wouldn't have punched her. So it creates a whole lot of other issues when you start violating the law. When cops start violating the law by pulling people out when they should just be given a summons.
Do you think it's fair that the police can take matters and not abide by the law when they do what they do? Like, for example, they punch the girl in the face or slam them to the floor. Is that all in line of duty for the police, or is that abuse?
It's abuse, and that's what I fight against. And the problem with, this happens all the time. The problem is that what the police do is they pick on people that they know don't have money to fight them. And then that's what ends up happening. They get away with what they're doing because no one's gonna hire a lawyer to file a civil suit, or unfortunately, I hate to say this because it's really about the defense bar, but there's not a lot of attorneys who are gonna go to court and start questioning an officer about his behavior during the traffic stop.
Absolutely.
And so that needs to be done as well. Like the defense bar needs to always, whenever one of clients says that they were punched by the police, the defense bar should spend 30 minutes questioning that officer just on that interaction.
Yes.
And that, defense attorneys need to step up and do that. And at the very least, even though, and here's the issue. The reason I say a lot of defense attorneys don't do that is because if you have a speeding ticket and someone has pulled out their car and gets punched, right?
Yes.
The actual case has nothing to do with the officer punching them. It has everything to do with speed. So it's, first of all, there's not going to be a relevance to the objection, but the question is, how is that relevant? Well, you make it relevant. Defense attorneys should make it relevant. Question the officer. Question the officer on the interaction. Even though it might have nothing to do with the traffic stop, it has everything to do with the traffic stop.
Absolutely. Yes. Is there, we have a question from Monica Martin on Facebook Live. She said, is there truly anything an attorney or the community can do to change incarceration when it's judges that do the sentencing of these Black men? It says, she says, is anything that you can do for what you can do or the community can do with so many Black men being sentenced and incarcerated?
Okay, let me answer that question by going back to what I tried to do last year. So the way I came into being in the community more is because last year I ran for Commonwealth Attorney.
Yes.
What she is talking about doing was my goal if I had won, and I plan on running in 4 more years. It's a 4-year seat. But okay. So understand this, and if people can understand the power of the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, they will understand how a Commonwealth Attorney can literally start reversing the mass incarceration.
Wow.
One of the things I got when I was running is, I don't want to vote for you. You're a prosecutor. You're just going to lock me up. So listen to this. Listen to this. If let's say I was head of the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, an officer comes to me with, pull somebody over. They had a gun and drugs in the car, right?
Yes.
The officer's job is to give someone a charge based on probable cause. They're supposed to turn that information over to the Commonwealth Attorney, and the Commonwealth Attorney decides whether or not to prosecute. What I'm telling people is that once the officer turns it over to the Commonwealth Attorney, the officer has no say in what that Commonwealth Attorney does. The judge has no say. So as Commonwealth Attorney, if I call and I find out like this is a young guy, he might be working at the shipyard. He doesn't need this felony. He wasn't using the gun in a dangerous manner. Mm-hmm. Assuming there are actually enough facts to find him guilty, the Commonwealth Attorney can decide to just drop the charge.
Oh.
Do you understand that power?
Yes.
And if people understood how powerful the Commonwealth Attorney's position is, all around the country, they would make sure they have Commonwealth Attorneys in place who meet, who have the same vision that they have. So as a Commonwealth Attorney, I can talk about, what this person is doing, talk to his family members and find out if it's beneficial or not to charge him with these crimes. So Commonwealth Attorney doesn't always have to prosecute. They have a duty to do what is just for the community. And if this is someone that needs to go back into the community and work a job so they can take care of their family, then it's just to dismiss the charges. Even a judge has no say over what the Commonwealth Attorney does. I was talking about it this morning. With those charges, I would go to court, drop the charges, let him know that there's these services that are in place, and a judge has no power over the Commonwealth Attorney. And the explanation I gave, let's say the judge says, no, I'm not going to let you drop the charge, which again, it's not the judge's determination. The way that looks in court is if the judge says, I'm not going to let you drop the charge, I'll tell the defense attorney, plead your client not guilty. They plead not guilty. And I tell the judge, we have no evidence to put on. The Commonwealth has no evidence against this person to put on. So now the judge has to dismiss the charge. The reason I ran for Commonwealth Attorney is because it gives you the power to literally reverse mass incarceration.
Amazing.
Prosecutors drop charges all the time for who they want to drop charges for.
Oh, wow. So
that is where the work needs to be done.
So that's how you fight against men or women that have been over-targeted, overcharged, and over-incarcerated. That is marvelous. We have another comment from Monica Martin. She says, I believe that officers are able to get away with little things over time, and I never reprimanded. It's really kind of sad, but what about police abuse, or how do people, the community, make sure that we are not being abused by law officers?
Well, one of the things, other than what I just said, if you have a Commonwealth Attorney in place that's going to go arrest an officer the very next day after they get a complaint, which is something I would do. But short of that, one of the things I am trying to do is if an officer does something wrong, immediately as a citizen, you should report it. And I know this sounds like it's useless, but you should report it to the police department. Now listen, I don't trust the police department. I don't trust that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. But reporting the allows you to. So when the city does something against you, you have 6 months to report it. That meets the reporting requirement so that you can file a lawsuit.
Very good.
What?
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like,
it does. Yes.
So you're not submitting it because you expect the officers to really, do what they're supposed to do, but you're submitting it to say that you told somebody so that you can sue them later.
Absolutely.
So they should do that, and then they should also write a letter that talks about everything that happened to their mayor and the city manager and send it certified. That's also part of the notice requirement. And then I'm trying, I'd love to have like a civil litigation clinic where as soon as within a week we're filing lawsuits against officers. They'll stop if they start getting civil suits, but I'm only one person. I'm trying to get something in place like that.
Yes.
We can start trying to do that for the community.
We got just a little bit more time, Amina. Tell our listening audience, why is the punishment for African Americans so high than is with the Caucasian brother?
Sentencing.
Well, this goes back to the point that I made earlier. The purpose, in my opinion, of the system is to re-enslave Blacks. So the way you do that, the way a system does that, is to target African American. So starting with the police by targeting African American males in terms of who are we going to charge, and then once they targeted African American males, they increased the charge. So I'm going to stop for a second. True story. I had a client, Black male, charged with it should have been urinating in public, and he was charged with
something.
It's basically displaying his genitals in public. I've seen behavior. I've seen behavior. So I've seen behavior is a class 1 misdemeanor. It carries 12 months in jail and $2,500 fine. Urinating in public carries like a $250 fine. It's not a criminal. It's not a criminal offense where you can go to jail. And so charging a Black male with obscene behavior as opposed to charging him with urinating in public is another way. So first targeting Black male, and then increasing the charges, and then sending it to a Commonwealth attorney who will add a felony if they can. And then add a felony that carries mandatory time that has to be stacked because it's mandatory time. And then putting it in front of a judge who's going to do pretty much what the system is meant to do.
Absolutely.
So it's really because of this country, and it's unique to America.
Yes.
We incarcerate more people than any other country in the world. So that's documented. And again, it's because of our history of slavery. This country can't stop just re-enslaving Black males. Like, that's what it's built on, and that's what it's still doing.
Yes. I have 2 questions. I know we only have a couple of minutes left, and we would love to have you back. What are 2 cases? One, the one that you felt like made you, and the one that would possibly, let me put it the right way here. What is the case that made you, and the case that almost broke you? What are 2 that stand out? 2 cases.
Okay, you said 2.
Yeah, one that you delighted in, or it was really something that was successful, and then one that was very hard. You kind of question yourself. Sometimes we have those dynamics in life. Can you think of any 2? The one that really, you felt like you wanted to just, hey, I got this. And then one that you was like, oh man, is this worth it? Did you have those moments?
Let me see. Because I'm trying to think back. So I'm trying to think specifically. So there's one case, and so you have to just kind of know how I think to know why. When you said a moment, which was like a good moment.
Yes.
The This happened one time in 22 years where, and it had nothing to do with me. The officer came in to court and looked at my client and said, "That's not the guy I was chasing."
Oh, wow.
That happens never.
Oh, wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and what a beautiful moment. Attorney Willard, can you give us some contact information? Because we have limited time, but we would love to have you back.
Yes. My website is www.aminalaw.com. My phone number is 757-777-3441. And I'm also on Facebook. My email address is amina@aminalaw.com. And on Facebook, I have like, I think 3. My personal is just Amina Matheny, and then there's Amina Matheny for Commonwealth Attorney, and Amina Matheny Willard.
Well, we want to thank you for being on. Thank you so much. Hopefully you'll come back soon. We still have a lot of questions for you, but you be blessed and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, you all come over here real quick on our social media platform. We're going to talk more about the law and some tea and some other things. God bless you. See you on Fun Friday.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on WGPL 1350 and WPCE 1400. Our special guest has been none other than attorney Amina Willard. For more information, give us a call at 757-714-7861. And don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on WGPL 1350 and 95.3 FM.
Wow, we want to say thank you to our wonderful, wonderful guest, attorney Amina Matheny Willard. She's fighting for the rights of people. She's the people's attorney, and she is going to do all she can to deal with the issues of incarceration, overcharging individuals, and over-targeting. Overcharging, and over-incarceration. She's going to fight for the rights of individuals. We have a comment here that I wanted to go over. Mr. E, can you please put that back? Nathan Richardson had a, do you see it? Okay, I'm going back. All right. Go ahead. Nathan, he said, not all Republicans are racist who want to kill or replace minorities, but many of those who are not are silenced. Those who do. That's Nathan Richardson. And then he also says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King. But we have a comment from someone who's on, and he says, Mr. E, and you see Don Hinton, if you could show that. Don Hinton said, Nathan, prove it, because the glaring evidence is apparent. Now, I'm not sure, where his stance is. If it doesn't sound like he's in agreement with the comment, but Don, can you clarify what you're saying just a little bit so we can understand if this is something you want to, dig deeper in and talk a little bit more about, as well as Nathan. But, it's just so much going on, Mr. E, and we are hoping that things would get better and things would change. I feel like the system is a business. I feel like Black men have had the worst end of the stick in this ungodly system. And it feels as though it is not getting any better.
As I begin to go back to the question that the answer that Dr. Nathan Richardson had up here, when he said not all Republicans are racist, who wants to kill or replace minority, but many of those who are not are silent. See, there's some folks that's sitting behind the scenes.
Yes.
They really don't like what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they do, they sit back there, just like back in the days of old, when the Jim Crow days, there was a lot of white Caucasian folks who wasn't against African Americans.
Yeah.
So what happened was them that was racial, them that was gonna kill the folk, them that wants to hang you, they
Yes.
voiced their opinion. They was very outspoken.
Absolutely.
But them that didn't say a word, they sat back, knowing that it's wrong to take the life. You know, Miss Willer said some things, Miss Hinton, that the system is one-sided. You know, she said some things that, you know, when you go to the court system down there, you can be misidentified. And she said that what they pull you over, they're supposed to stick to it. If they pull you over for speeding, that gun or the beer cans that's in the flow, that's not involved in the case. What is involved in the case is they pull you over for speeding.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is non and void. Everything else don't mean a hill of beans. Why is it that they go further than what they're supposed to do? One of the questions I want to ask her, why do police think they have the right to throw a male or female or a woman down on the ground and punish them like they're some animal, some dog, some cat, when they're human beings just like everybody else?
I think it has a lot to do with who they are. And I'm saying if they are nasty and evil and racist, that's what's going to come out. And you know, how do you police the police? You know, how do you do that? What do you do? And because the attorney said, you know, not too many people are going to come in and question the lawyer.
That's right.
Not going, you know, we're going to put him on the spot. He's going to go along with that officer, and whether right or wrong.
That's right.
And so that's why they can get away with so much.
And she also said that if there is a problem, you're supposed to be taking it. And then she said, that's going to sound kind of crazy, that you take it to the police department and make a complaint.
Yes.
Like nothing is going to happen if you go down to the police department and have a complaint. Nothing is going to happen.
Good morning, Desi Combs. Thank you so much for joining us. So, yeah, she says that, you know, it's a hard thing to do, to be able to pull in, you know, attorneys that will say, okay, we're going to put you in your place. But she did say, you know, the key is the attorney of what she's running for. What is it, Miss E? The Commonwealth Attorney.
Right.
And that's the key. That's what you need to be focusing on, because she or whoever's the Commonwealth Attorney is instrumental in keeping the numbers down.
That's right.
Of those that are incarcerated. You know, some folk don't need to be in jail.
That's right.
Okay, the man urinated. Okay, next time show him where the bathroom is. Why do you have him in there for 4 months?
That's right. And not only that, you changed the charge on him. You
Yes.
act like he was trying to do something more than, you know, stand up against the wall and let it go. So you try to say you want to get him for indecent exposure. You were saying he was showing his genital. But why do they change the law? Why can't y'all just keep it simple? If they was out there drinking liquor, don't say they was radical. If they was out there up against the wall, urinated, just give them a ticket for that and let them pay the fine. Why is it, and I believe, Miss Hinton, it's a business, because the jailhouses are loaded. They're loaded with more African Americans than any Caucasian. Miss Monica Martin said billions behind bars inside American prison industry.
That's what it is. It's a system industry.
It's a money
where
maker.
It's a money maker. It's a business.
That's
honey.
Right. It's a money maker.
And it is really a sad thing. But hopefully, you know, she said, she's there to fight against you know, being over targeted. You know, you shouldn't have the right. There should be laws in place that you just can't just target or profile folk.
And then,
you know what I'm saying?
And then she said it's just like from the beginning. African Americans have been enslaved from the beginning. And since African Americans have been enslaved, they've been enslaved, working in the fields, working for the master. Now, when they got freed, Now, when they got free, they thought that, okay, fine, this is another way that we got to contain that the law has to switch from being in favor or equal to a Caucasian man. So we got to put African Americans back in jail so that, like Monica said, prison for profit. So they can profit off of African America being incarcerated. And that's what it's all about. They're making money off in the backs of black folks.
Well, see, this is the thing that we saw so clear recently. It was from over incarceration to shooting you down like a dog in the street.
It was a sport back in the day.
And so this was the spirit that was going to rise up. But the thing about it was too many people, and I know Monica mentioned the people. It was too many people that came against the George Floyd. They were there to protest and to stand up and to speak out and say, not so. You're not going to sit here and just shoot us like dogs.
That's dirty
We, the people, and it wasn't just African-American people, it was all the people, got together and say, you will not do it, because it was going to become a trend. It was a thing of, hey, we can get away with incarcerating you, charging you, profiling you. Now we can shoot you down like dogs in the street. And it was like, no, you can't.
That's right.
You're not going to do that. And so the people have a strength in numbers. And if they would come together, we could even pull down the stronghold of that business that incarcerate our men and our women for the dumbest reasons. We could really, really, really pull down some of the ungodliness. And even Monica mentioned about the judges. These judges, some of them, we need to look at them close, eye to eye, and say, look, are you unjust? Are you ungodly? Are you the ungodly judge? We can't come before you for nothing, because guess what? You're going to keep us in jail for the rest of our lives. And so we, the people, have to get involved with so many things. We have to vote in folk that will fight for the people.
That's right.
We have to stay on top of attorneys that are taking money and not doing their jobs. We have to stay on top of our men and women who come before the unjust judge doing stuff. And we just have to make sure that we have a more balanced system, because it's a mess. And the jail houses are overrunning with men. And, people wonder, well, where the black men are. A lot of them they're incarcerated.
That's right. They're locked up. And that what they're doing, they keeping the African American. It stems back in the days of old, in the Bible days, when Pharaoh said, listen, every Israel is populating. We are populating. African American is populating. You can't stop us from growing by leaps and bounds and by numbers. All you have to understand is that we are coming out here, and you can't treat us like dogs. Back in the days of old, they used to have a sport where they used to run black folk and shoot black folks. Now, when you said something about George Floyd, that Caucasian police officer literally in front of all America, in front of everybody in the whole wide world, showed that he can stand on a black man and kill him right in front of in front of everybody. Now look what's happening around the world. There was a young man walking down the street with the assault rifle. He didn't die. Look at the man that went over to the school and shot up in the schoolhouse. He didn't die. Look at the young man that died. But when you started looking at the crime, black folks are getting killed for brake lights being out. Black folks are being killed for
at a stop sign.
Being at the service station and pulling to a lighted area so they won't get killed in the dark, so everybody can witness it. Black folks are being killed for just license plates are not up to par. But there are a whole lot of other races that are running around that really has not the proper equipment, and they're getting away with it. All the crime that they say happens in the community. They say it because we are African American, because we are black folk.
Yes. Virginia says, if we would put our strength into uniting instead of fighting each other, rise up against their abuse. Also vote in strong numbers and get them out of office. That's the truth.
That's
We,
it.
the
That's
people, we have the power actually to turn this thing around, but we do not participate. And then you have this thing where the voting, they get into the voting system and they take away the rights of people to vote. They change where they can vote at, and people get confused, and they scare people. It's a scare tactic, so you won't go out there and go to the polls. Then laziness is another thing. Some people say, "Hey, what? I ain't in it. I'm not in the politics. I'm not in the politics." Whoever gets in gets in. But we have a part to do, and we have to. If even if we don't get out there with the signs, at least support those that do, and pray that things change. Change. We have to do our part.
Miss Hinton, I believe there's more to just getting out there and vote. We got to stay on our people that's in office. Those folks that are in office, we got to continue to support who we put in office so that they can get these bills passed, so that they can represent what we want. And then we got to learn how to read the ballots. We got to learn how to read the issues that are on the ballot boxes. If we don't pay close attention to what the issues are on the ballot box, they can put anything up there on us. And guess what? We fall right into the trap, because those issues that are on the ballot, we don't understand it. We don't pay close attention to it. We just vote. We just go down and say, I voted. Please, when you go out there to vote for those who are going to stand up for what's right for us.
Well, Mr. E, I wish I had my teacup, because, honey, they were serving that tea in Portsmouth. What in the world? Have you all seen what was going on at the city council? It was the city council, wasn't it? Serving that tea. I need my cup. We're going to talk a little bit more about it on Friday. But honey, there was a sister in the city council. If she didn't blast, she was blasting. She was cutting up, and she was doing a number over some incident that was going on in Portsmouth School. If you all go online, you go to Facebook, you go on Instagram, and it's the Portsmouth City Council, where I'm trying to tell you that sister was in there cussing.
What sister? What's her name?
I ain't telling the name till Friday.
Listen, it was on the news.
I'm not going to tell her name on Friday. All I can say is go to Instagram or the news, and honey, pull up Portsmouth City Council. What happened?
That's right.
And baby, one of them sisters was in there rocking and rolling.
It was on the news this morning, and those who look at 13 or 10 News,
I got to ask Mr. E.
It was on there.
Mr. E's going to get it for you, but Mr. E, listen to this question. And I want everybody in here from Portsmouth, Virginia. I'm going to ask you, is Portsmouth, Virginia, do they cut up? Are y'all cut ups in Portsmouth, Virginia? Is the leadership toe up in Portsmouth, Virginia? I want to know. I'm asking the question. Is Portsmouth, Virginia, a bunch of cut up? I'm talking about the leadership now. Because I'm telling you, there's always drama. This was drama to the 100 power. Miss E, tell us.
Listen, Miss Hinton, the Portsmouth City Council fired the city manager after only 1 year in position. After only 1 year in position, they got rid of the lady. They got rid of her because she was only 1 year into doing her job. And whatever she was doing and whatever she did, there's a ruckus going on in that city. Ooh. They said this. They said Portsmouth City Manager got the boot Tuesday night following the vote from the City Council. According to the Commonwealth Bill Moody, the Portsmouth City Council voted 4-3 to fire the City Manager Angel Jones. The vote led to tense moments between the city council members. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, said Miss Lucas, Miss Lisa Lucas Burke, who is strongly spoken out against the firing. Ooh. According to Moody, the 4 councilmen who voted to fire her, and they named these 4 councilors. Just like they voted to remove Jones, she became the city manager at 4-3 votes in March 2021. At the time, Vice Mayor Barnes wasn't the pick. After becoming the city manager in March, Jones said in an exclusive interview she wanted to be focused on the city financial stability and economy development and work to bring more police officers to the street of Portsmouth. Y'all getting rid of people because folk trying to build up your area.
Yeah, that's fine and good, but that's not the tea. The tea was the outburst. That was some tea. That if y'all could have seen,
hear what she said,
if you all could have seen, you go on the Instagram, Facebook Live, and go and see that this is something else. I mean, all I can say is Monica said, hey, what Monica said. Monica also said we need to go back to what Monica said. We need to have them on. She said you need to have her on the show, and I think we should do that. Serve up that tea, that was I mean the girl,
1 year.
But that ain't the tea. The tea is the ruckus. I'm trying to get Mr. E to
I understand.
City managers come and go.
But
city managers come and go.
But
what I'm saying, honey, that ruckus.
That Lisa called.
I want to know what is going to be the outcome of that ruckus, because if that woman didn't lay it down, if she didn't cuss them out, I said they bought this stuff to her office for $2,000. They wanted her to vote against something. A vote against Miss Angela Jones. Yes.
They want to vote, and she said, but I am sick of this MF.
Ooh, it was, I mean, she threw down, but I would love to know the outcome of the throwdown. What's going to happen? Maybe we'll have that tea. We're going to be serving that tea on Friday.
Yeah.
If y'all got any tea, I want you all to bring it to the table so we can all drink together. Honey, will you get ready to order some cups?
I'm laughing and the reason why I'm laughing, Miss Hinton, because the business in the council is off the chain.
But see, my question again, those in Portsmouth, are your leaders cut up? This is not the first time we've heard a whole lot of drama coming out of Portsmouth, Virginia. I'm curious now. Now, I used to live in Portsmouth, so I can talk about us. But I'm just...
See what Virginia
what did Virginia say?
She said, Louise Lucas is well like our Paul Riddick, but a favorite tone. All I can say is Portsmouth, what's going on? Any of the leadership, they're welcome to come on FYI. Just call us.
It's always drama. I don't understand
if it ain't shooting.
I'm talking about with leadership. I'm not talking about the people of Portsmouth.
It's drama in management. It's drama in City Hall.
It is.
City Hall is full of drama. I mean, and you know one thing, Miss Hinton, Portsmouth is not that big.
And Portsmouth is small.
It's a little old hick town. It's so small, but there's a lot of drama going on in that city. Look at what's happening. If it ain't Louise Lucas, Senator Louise Lucas, talking about the statue downtown.
I ain't going that
and now her daughter is beefing, talking about, I'm sick of it.
Oh, okay. Now I tell you what. So we're gonna get through the outcome. We don't want to go too far. We want to give you the outcome. We're gonna serve that tea on Friday. Yeah. We're gonna find out if anybody would like to come on FYI, any leadership encounter. Tell us what's going on in Portsmouth. It's always drama. Y'all are not drama free yet. We're gonna have to do something. And why did y'all fire that lady? Can we get the answers, Mr. E? Can we get the tea? Why? Why?
Mr. E got some connection.
Mr. E, I want you to investigate, go into the Daily News or wherever online and find out the tea and why they got rid of the woman after a year, and then why did y'all upset Miss Lucas, not Louise, but her daughter, Miss Lucas? Why did Miss Burt? Why did you all upset her to the point she had to come out of character?
Now, Miss Hinton,
honey.
now, do you want to hear it from the horse's mouth, or
Let me hear. Go ahead.
do you want to hear it from the horse's mouth, or because what I can do, I can find the horse, I can get the horse.
Mr. E, we want to find out all across the board why Portsmouth, it seems like is so much drama going on in leadership.
You know, Miss Jones said that the one that they fired, she said, I wanted to focus, exclusive interview. She said, I wanted to focus on the city financial stability, money. She wanted to know, she wanted to focus on the money of Portsmouth. The money, the money, the money that's hidden behind closed doors, the money that they pay each other, money that, you know, that she wanted to focus on economic development and work on bringing more police officers to the streets of Portsmouth.
Then
she
why
wanted
was
to
she
focus
fired?
on the money.
Why was we fired? We're gonna dig a little
when
deep.
you start when
when
you start talking about money, and that money that's hidden, that hidden money, that underneath the table money. And that's why Louise Lucas Burt decided that somebody came to her office and want to give them $2,000 to go along with the foolishness.
Well, all I can say, y'all upset Miss Burt. It's a shame. We're going to find out why the lady was fired, and we're going to find out what's going to happen to Miss Burt, because I'm telling you,
she cussed up a storm.
You all just go and see it. We're going to look. But we're going to be serving that tea and more, you know. And look, if you all are tea servers, I know Monica can bring me some tea. I need y'all to bring some tea. We're going to pull in some folk. And this is our entertainment news and allegedly, even locally, you know, our celebrities and whatnot. We're gonna be serving that tea. And Monica, we wanna look sometime if you pull you in to serve that tea.
That's right.
Let us know what's going on in that entertainment world and the local scene and all this other stuff, so we can have a good show. We're gonna get cups. We're ordering them now, and we're gonna sit up here and especially starting in June, and serve that tea. We thought we'd give you a little bit of that tea from our local arena here, and we're gonna keep it up. So we need folk to actually, our agents, to go out there and get that tea for us.
Miss Monica said, Mr. E, find a horse. Find a horse. Bring them Friday so I can drink the tea.
It's that tea, DAT. Drink is serving that tea.
Yeah.
And so let's come on and let's drink, all y'all. And look, if you all want cups, we're gonna have our cups ready, our tea cups ready. You're gonna be able to do it. But Mr. E, give us some upcoming shows. We're gonna get off of that tea, and we're gonna let you all know who's coming.
Listen, on Fun Friday, this Friday, we got BKO. Alopecia will be our special guest on this Friday, and you don't want to miss that. And then on Sports Talk on Monday, we got Memorial Day. We got Mr. Charlie Hatchard, who's a legend in sports, on Sports Talk. And then on Bishop, and then on What's Under the Hat, we got Bishop. We got Bishop Ernest Sutton, who's a warden for the correctional facility in Elizabeth City.
Absolutely.
Will be our special guest there.
Now we are booking for June. We're going to have some fun time in the sun time and activities that's going on during the summer. We need you all, if you have any suggestions or anything, or if you want to be a special guest on our show with any activities, you know, please feel free to contact us. Mr. E will give you that information in a little while. Don't forget to follow us on social media.
That's right.
On all the platforms. Now we're trying to get Instagram and we're trying to get TikTok live. We need the show to go on those two platforms. We need everybody to tell their friends to go over to one FYI Radio and click there. We need 1,000 folk to go over there. And the lady _Christo Records, that's CRISTO Records. We're going to post that today, actually. And the lady _Christo Records, that's my Instagram page. And then Pastor Ed 1 on Instagram Please go there. You can go at Yolanda Hinton on TikTok, Edward Everett. Are you Pastor E or
Edward Everett?
Edward Everett on TikTok. Please bring us the numbers. We need to go live. We have Twitter, we have YouTube, we have Facebook Live, we have LinkedIn, we need Instagram, and we need TikTok to go live. We also are thankful for our FM platform.
That's
if
right.
you all don't know it, we're on
95.3.
95.3, Peace 95.3. We're going to get ready to go on another FM platform. 89.9.
Yeah.
We're also on already on WGPL 1350 and WPCE 1400, but we're going to they're going to add another FM platform, and we are glad to be able to have you come into any of them. Also, www.christianbroadcastingcompany.com. You can go to the World Wide Web and see us there.
And listen to us. Yeah.
But please help us. Also go to YouTube, Christo Records 1, Cristo, and I'm going to post everything for you all today. One, which is... that is on YouTube, where you can see FYI Radio Show live. You can see it if you want to see it again. So please go to those platforms. Facebook Live, follow us. We need numbers. And so if you would please, if you have friends, please ask them to subscribe and follow our on our platform. Also, the ladies' pies. Thank you all for being so wonderful and ordering the pies. The ladies' book is ready. I have the hard copy. The ebook should be ready any day. You all can go on. It's Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. It's a wonderful illustration. It's for children, for family, for adults too. And it is coming along with a series of other books. It's also will be in Spanish in about 6 weeks, Mr. E. It's a Spanish version of Bullying is Right Underneath Your Nose. A lot of things are coming with the series of and our initiative. Bullying, our anti-bullying initiative. It's a lot of things that's coming. I just want you all to wait and see. But we've started with the book, the Spanish book. We have some other books in the series, comic books. We have a lot of things. So please wait for it. Be prepared to support it and make sure you have these things for your children and your family. Also, what else, Mr. E? We will host your event, Mr. E. Tell them a little bit about that.
All you have to do is give us a call at area code 757-714-7861, and we'd be more than happy to host your event and do what we do.
Okay, now you can also be a sponsor. You can be a special guest or an intern with FYI Radio Show. Again, we're looking for agents to help us serve DAT. Also bring us information and people that you feel should be a part of FYI Radio Show as guests. Mr. E's going to give you that number, that information on how you can do just that.
I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. If you'd like to be a guest or sponsor FYI, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, or FYI Facebook page, or you can email us at FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com. Again, that's FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com, and put all the information there. We'd be more than happy to respond to you. And don't forget to call us at 757-714-7861. And guess what? Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hump day.
Yes, in about 10 days, the website should be up. You'll be able to go up there and look at Christo Records, what's happening there, FYI Radio Show, what's happening there, and also Christo Community Development Corporation. Please, in the 10 days, we will be giving the link. We will give you the link to all our platforms and things as well. God bless you all. You all are wonderful, wonderful. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing. We're going to see you on Fun Friday. We're going to have a great time. Be blessed. Oh, let me mention something about Fun Friday, because our guest, Taishi Matthews, BKO, Beautiful Kids Organization, she specializes in alopecia. She's a woman. She does hair, cosmetologist, and she has been working with those that have alopecia for quite a long, long time. You know, the big thing in the news, and we discussed this, I discussed this with her, with Jada Pinkett and all that's going on. She's going to come on and she's going to give you that information on how you can learn more about it. But God bless you. Miss Steve rushed me off. Okay.
It's time.
We got to go. All right. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 2